So welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to be covering for loops. For loops are quite easy. Now there's other loops, and there's the do while loop, and there's a while loop. I'm going to cover those in some other video. I'm just going to do one loop in one video. I'm not going to do all three in one video because it's going to be really messy. And yeah, so we're going to make a counter that's going to count 0 to 10. Really simple. So it's going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, so how do we start a for loop? We just say for, and then we say brackets, and then we have to say int I. Usually it's I. You could say whatever you really want to, but usually it's I. That's kind of what people usually do. If you have nested loops, then you won't be able to use int I again. So if you want to have two loops, you won't be able to have int I again because it's in the same loop. But if it's in a different loop, if basically this loop runs, but then you have another loop after the whole loop, then you actually be able to use the same int because the loop is basically not in the loop, so it's not less the loop pretty much. So yeah, so usually you just say the next letter in the alphabet if you have nested loops, but yeah, so we say 0 because that's where we want to start from. Okay, next thing, we say I less than or equal to 10, so we want it to display 10. If we didn't have the equal sign, it will just display 9, it won't display 10. So yeah, just so you know. Okay, so that's done. Next thing is incrementing. Incrementing is pretty much just going by ones, you know, adding saying 1, another plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, and it'll lead to 10. Or we could say plus 2. Okay, so this is the easiest way of doing it, but this only allows us to kind of go 1 plus 1 plus 1. Now if we want to go, you know, plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, we have to say I equals I plus 2 or plus 5 or whatever. But this is the better way of doing it, because if you do it plus plus, you will kind of fall into issues once it gets to the part where you actually want to maybe increment by 2 or by 3, because you really have to know this. You can't just use I plus plus. So yeah, so now we want to actually display the number, the loop. Basically, what does it do? And all we say is just I. Okay, so let's actually run this and see that it's going to say 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So you could see 0, 1, 2, 3, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's cool. So let's say we want to go by 2. So you'll see 0, 2, 4, 6, you know, and so on. So you can see how it works. It's quite simple. Okay, so for example, I want to actually go in reverse. Okay, so all you say is 10, and then you say less than or equal to, well, 0. So this is going to go in reverse. Now just be careful, because if you don't change this to a minus, you will have issues, because you just will. It might not compile, but most times it will compile and you'll start getting really huge numbers. So just be careful about that. That's one problem with loops sometimes, they go crazy. So now it's going to say 10, 9, and so on. So you could see we'll reverse the loop really easily. And actually, let's see what happens if we actually just say plus. I'm pretty sure it's going to like go crazy. Yeah, you could see what happens. It goes pretty crazy. So don't make that mistake, because it could cause a lot of issues. But yeah, that's our for loop. Next video is going to be probably a do while loop and so on. So while loop, the next one after the do while loop. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Do subscribe, and I see you in the next one.